Hey guys, this is a Matt chat, and we're just going to sit here and talk.
It's like number 7.
This is number 7. See,
We
he
just
likes
made
to keep
6.
track of that stuff. Hey, we were talking about bullying earlier, and his guy's got some interesting takes on bullying. Let's talk about that.
Bullying, man, the most controversial subject in the world.
It is controversial,
Right,
isn't
man,
it?
it's crazy,
Everybody
man. It's
has
crazy.
their different way of wanting to handle
Yeah.
things.
They do, man. I got an interesting take on bullying. This is just conversation. I usually I go on a rant, but I think bullying is a part of life. I really do. I think we treat it very strangely, in my opinion, in modern day. I guess recently it's become a huge deal, but I don't believe it's got any worse. A lot of people say it's worse now than it's ever been.
I think our
I think
tolerance
it's the
is a
same.
lot lower as a society when it comes to stuff like this. We seem to get our feelings hurt a lot more.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, man. I think it's also good in the good aspect. It's good that we talk about it. Like, a long time ago, people would get bullied. And when I was a kid, you got bullied. It's just the way it is. No one cares.
Get
Yeah.
tougher, kid. What are you talking about?
Beat them up. People, it was a little ridiculous, probably. And I know when I was in the Marine Corps, there's a lot of this stuff that went on, like even to the point of hazing and stuff like that happening. And, there are people out there that say it's good, that you're supposed to be doing that as part of discipline. I don't agree with that personally. Something I used to say a lot to my men back in the day was, no one will take a bullet for somebody that they fear,
There you go.
but they will take a bullet for somebody they respect. So as a leader, if you turn to hazing, if that's that's the way that you get people to be disciplined, man, you're messing up for sure. You don't understand what leadership's about.
I think a lot of the issue is kids aren't given permission to defend themselves in many cases.
Got the Boogeyman Cup,
The boogeyman got.
courtesy of Aubrey Bigger. I'm not sponsored yet by her, but I should be.
He's trying to get a
Should be, man.
sponsorship.
Love you, babe. All right, go ahead. You said I interrupted you.
I don't think kids feel like they have permission. I know when I was younger, I was more worried about getting in trouble than I was getting beat up in some circumstances.
Yeah, sure. Especially you got to be careful these days. It's a lot different just from. I got a younger brother that's 7 years younger than me. When I was in high school, if you got in a fight, you got in trouble. And I mean, you got in trouble, but it wasn't that big of a deal.
It was a much lesser deal when we were younger
Yeah.
too.
So 7 years later, my brother, exact same high school, he's going through there. You throw one punch and you're suspended. For like a whole semester or whatever. It can really, and we have cops in schools now, in a lot of schools. They have these resource officers, and I think they've got
they get violent.
they've got a long ways away from what those resource officers were originally put there to do. I think sometimes we put I should probably my uncle is a resource officer in BA, and I should probably talk to him more about it. He'd be the expert on this, but I think we've gotten away from what these resource officers were designed to do and what their original purpose was. I think administrators and stuff are under a lot of pressure with budget cuts and things, and how to deal with increasing class sizes, how to deal with kids that aren't necessarily as disciplined as they used to and don't respect the authority as they used to. And so that's a lot. That's a big part of it too.
We also seem to have created this kind of hands-off society.
Yeah, sure. And I think in a lot of cases it's good. There was an intention, I believe, to, it's a big discussion, but
It is a big decision.
no-
Just hugging
nobody's-
somebody now is
yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff I think was intended. Like nobody wants child abuse is wrong.
right. It's wrong.
Right, it's wrong. Hands, it's wrong. Abuse some kids in front of me, see what happens. It's wrong.
Yeah.
It's absolutely 100% wrong. Sexual harassment is wrong. If you abuse your position as in an authority or a leadership position, and you sexually harass somebody, that's wrong.
It's wrong.
You're not supposed to be doing that. Bullying people is wrong. If you are harassing people to the extent, we have kids that are killing themselves because they're being harassed on the internet, or they're being harassed, physically and verbally abused at school or wherever. That's wrong, and we need to stop that stuff. But here's the thing about all that. That being said, bullying is a part of life. And I'm a firm believer that. Listen, folks, bullying doesn't go away. Okay, I don't care if you're 5 years old, or you're 25 years old, or you're 55 years old. You get bullied when you're in school. You'll get bullied at your workplace. You'll get bullied if you're in the military. You get bullied if you go to college. There are going to be bullies everywhere. There are people that are grown adults that are still bullying people. And that's the way that it is. And I actually believe that it's a part of your social development. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not an expert on this. It's just my personal opinion. I think that everyone is going to deal with this. And here's the thing, too. Every person is a bully at some point. Okay, and everybody, no, I never bullied anybody. Yes. At some point, you bullied your younger brother, or you bullied your buddy, or you did that. That is a part of growing up. That is a part of life. It's never going to go away. We wish that we could create a perfect society where nobody did that, but that's not possible. That's not the way it is. And I think the thing that I don't completely agree with the modern approach to dealing with it is that we are taking away a person's ability to develop the coping mechanisms that being bullied does. It. Look, I'm a tough guy now, but when I was a kid, I wasn't always tough, and I got bullied when I was a kid, just like everybody else. And later on, I bullied people.
This coping mechanism is interesting because I'm sitting there thinking, a lot of times we shelter our kids from the adversity they need to grow.
Absolutely.
We're so scared that they're going to skin their knee or get hurt. Now, I'm not talking about abuse or letting a bully kick their teeth in or anything, but I'm saying that kids have to have the freedom to know that it's okay for them to figure out their own situation and how to fix it. Some kids are scared to defend themselves. Other kids are scared to defend somebody because they're afraid they'll get in trouble if they help. If kids know it's okay to defend themselves and it's okay to defend their friends, you might be surprised on what kind of ways they'd come about to handle those situations and to handle those bullies on their own, as long as they knew it's okay. We can all handle this and we won't get in trouble. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They'd probably stand up to the bully more. They'd probably say, look, there's 5 of us and you're not going to pick on us no more.
Yeah, it's a great point we're talking about before we got on here. One thing I never completely understand now, I don't remember how I felt about it back in the day when I was younger, but so there's 1-2 bullies and there's 35 people that claim to be bullied by these 1 or 2 people.
This happens with adults in workplays.
Sure.
Adults get bullied by this one guy. And
stand up for yourself.
No one wants to get fired or get in trouble.
Well, this is a thing, and we're talking about, in a school environment, to use that example. There's 35 kids that are getting bullied by these 5, the bad kids club. There's 35 of you. Stand up for each other. Don't be afraid to walk over there. That's what I tell my daughter personally. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and that's what I tell her. If you see somebody that somebody's picking on, go over there and get the person that's being picked on and take them away from the situation. This kid's being rude. This kid doesn't want to play with me. This kid is saying mean things to me. Okay, go grab subject X there, your friend, and remove them from that situation. Now you have the power of numbers. You have 2 of you. And it's not always about fighting the other person. We want to try to avoid that if we can. It's never good, especially when you're
get your friends and let's go over
grab
here.
Hey man, whatever. Melissa's being mean to Mike. Mike, come with me. Let's go over here.
I'm gonna play with Rick if Melissa's mean to me.
I think as parents, sometimes we have to be careful, and just as a society in general, we have to be careful about how we approach this. And the modern things that I see is every poster you see says no more bullying, stop bullying, bullying's bad, and it is. But what does that fix? Like, I can put 1 million posters up that say violence is bad, and it's not going to take violence out of anything.
You teach a kid how not to be a victim, and most of the time he won't become one. But you got to teach him. You got to sit it down and say, all right, I'm going to teach you self-defense. And I'm not can't teach a kid how to fight. Now you got to teach him how to use it, when to use it, how to use it, when's the right time. Because here's the deal: if you can teach a kid and make him a world champion, but if he's afraid he'll get in trouble, you know what I mean?
If you go over to, we both train with clients, right? You go over to clients that have an awesome kids program, and you talk to those kids in there, you're going to get 99% of them that have probably never been in a position where they've ever used the jiu-jitsu that they learned at the gym, like at school, to take care of themselves. But you will see the confidence that they've built coming to that class. You'll see them take that back and no longer be a victim anymore.
Yeah, they just refuse to be a victim.
They understand that if it had to happen, I could win, or I could at least survive. You also build friendships inside the gym of kids that are at the school with you. And now when you go back to school, this is the guy that trains me over here. It's no different in every sports team. That's one of the great things about athletics. If you're on the football team or the wrestling team or the basketball team or whatever together, you bond with those people, and then you look out for each other. Right. And I think also that the adversity that different sports create, martial arts create, helps build confidence, but it helps build the coping mechanisms that when somebody does bully me, it's not the end of the world. just because this person said that they don't like me, that doesn't mean that I have to that is true.
Yeah, I have plenty in my life that says that I'm fine.
Yeah, but I think it's dangerous, and this is where I'm pretty controversial about this particular subject. I think it's dangerous to even make an attempt to try to say that we're going to get rid of bullies. One, I think it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I think it's a pipe dream that's never going to happen. It's like saying we're going to make the world so bubble wrap safe that you don't have to learn how to take care of yourself anymore. It's just going to be an inherently safe world.
We're going to invent perfect human beings.
It's never going to happen.
We're going to make this pill, and we're going to give everybody perfect human being pills, and bullying will be gone.
It's a complete waste of time, in my opinion. But I think where we've really got off track is that, as opposed to saying we're going to create this perfect society where nobody's going to bully and we're just going to tell our kids not to bully people and everything's going to be fine. That's ridiculous. That's a textbook BS answer. I think we focus our time on teaching kids conflict resolution, teaching them the coping mechanisms to deal with being bullied. Because you're going to see this again. Your school may have 9,000 posters that say don't bully people. And your workplace is probably going to say, "You're never. If you get bullied, call this number."
Are you proposing
and it's not going to work?
Teaching children life skills?
Absolutely, it's pretty important, right?
Rick Bigger, that's crazy talk.
I think that's our job.
That's crazy talk. We can't teach them that stuff.
All right, man. We're like 11 minutes in, dude.
We're 11 minutes in.
Got off. So bullying, man, it's part of life. Here's my point. You asked Rick Bigger, the boogeyman himself. I got the official with the cup. Got to put a little trademark on there or something. Bullying is part of life. That's what it is.
Prepare your kids for life, and you won't have that kind of problem.
Teach them coping mechanisms. Teach them how to deal with it. Teach them how to. There's always strength in numbers. What I've never completely understood is, and it happens. Very sad. Very, very sad. Is when you see someone commit suicide because they're bullied. If your friend's getting messed with, or somebody else, even if they're not your friend, you see somebody that it's bothering them to the point that something like that's going to happen. Do something about it. Step in and say something. Even if you don't know who they are, just say something about it. It's a weird generation, modern day. You can watch somebody gets attacked on the street, and they're worried about picking this phone up right here. So I make a
video instead of calling the cops.
YouTube this real fast.
Record this app.
Do something. Go over there and help them. Stop it. Call the police. The same thing in school. People getting jumped by 3 or 4 people, and there's 40 people standing around, and they're videotaping it so they can put it on YouTube. It's very strange to me. It doesn't make sense, why they're doing that, So it's part of life. It's out there. Better learn to deal with it. It's just like a lot of other things. You can't take the problem away. So focus your effort on preparing for it.
You prepare for the problem, man. Like you're talking about, it's sad that people see this and don't do nothing. Guys, listen. Teach everybody you know. The most important thing in life is the relationships you build. So the people in your life, even when you're that young, those people in your life are the most important people to you at that time. Take care of them. If you see them in trouble, do something about it. Don't just sit there and watch. Don't pull out your phone and record it. Go do something.
That's a cat right here, dude.
This is a jiu-jitsu cat right here, man. This is a jiu-jitsu cat.
You're messing my video up, man. All right, so you got anything else?
Man, we could talk about all kinds of stuff. We want to talk about. Hey, you used to do a really cool job. You used to weld those big old tanks. Why don't you tell us a tank story? Because that's a man thing.
Hang on.